Welcome home, family and fellow citizens of the African Order. I'm here with another video, and the topic of this discussion is America. You should be ashamed of yourself. Recently, Joe Biden came out and announced that with a string of mass shootings, that America has now become a national embarrassment, and this has to stop. Well, I agree with Joe. This is a national embarrassment, and I also agree that these mass shootings has to stop. We cannot continue to have these instances occur on this regular basis, and it's a national embarrassment. He's absolutely right. But that's not all America should be ashamed of or embarrassed of. If you just look at the whole totality of whatever they created, everything is a national embarrassment. Here you have white people doing these mass shootings 2, 3 times a week. They're the leaders of their own industries. They're the architects that design how this country's going to run. And for everybody else that don't like what they did, they tell them they can leave. But when they get upset about how their country is being run, they want to go out and start killing everybody. That's you should be embarrassed. You know it should be, but not just that. Here you have undertrained, underpaid police officers killing underprotected, unarmed blacks on a weekly basis. All this is happening all at the same time. But for some reason, you can't afford to pay the police officers, but you can afford to pay the millions of dollars in loss settlements that they're causing for these killings. Make this make sense. And with all this going on, and this is just recently, can we at least now stop with all this nonsense calling America the greatest country on earth? You cannot have this type of social breakdown to the point where the President of the United States called his actions a national embarrassment and still be the greatest country on earth. I would love for Joe Biden to sit up on the podium and make the pitch to the world as how America is so great. This would be a great vacation spot, a great place to bring your family. I would love to hear how he can do that. But he's not. He won't, because he can't. There's no way in the world you could pitch this idea, this version of the United States as the greatest anything anymore. These national shootings is broadcast all over the world, and they're laughing at us. And I hope they continue to, and then hope it be enough to spark change from the black leaders in this country and the black people that follow them. You know, Here you have a police officer, 26 years experience, killed Dante Wright because she didn't know the difference between a taser and a Glock. So again, you have failed leadership, failed police training, but instead of fixing the problem, you want to militarize the police. You want to give them more powerful weapons. She can't even safely handle a freaking taser. How you gonna give her an AK? She'll be causing more mass murders than the dang old mass shooters. This Can we stop calling this country the greatest, please? And can we at least do that? You know, Here you got congressmen voting against human trafficking laws. Then turn around, find out that he's being charged for human trafficking. You don't investigate this guy when he passed, when he refused to vote against it. You wait till a year or so later to find out that he's involved in this crap. Soon as he voted no, should have been reason enough. He was the only one. Gates, I think that's what his name is. Soon as he voted no, you should have went over there and investigated. Why you vote no? Somebody check this guy's background. What person in their right mind would vote against human trafficking unless he's participating in it and don't want to interfere in his extracurricular activity. Here you got Joe Biden saying he's going to put an end to the 9/11 war that happened 20 years ago. You got kids today that weren't even born during 9/11 fighting this war. This ain't nowhere in the world the resolution of this conflict should have spilled over to today's generation. This should have been resolved years ago. And now you're sitting up here complaining or wondering, was this the right thing to do or not? Of course it was the right thing to do. You never should have been over there in the first place. You should have investigated the people right there in Washington. You'd have found all the criminals involved right there. What you going over in Afghanistan and Iraq for? They ain't doing nothing over here that you didn't allow them to do. This is much more than a national embarrassment. You over here got the nerve to fight wars for free election and humanitarian reasons. But while you over here in your own country passing laws to undermine and limit your own democracy, making it harder, more difficult to vote. You had Donald Trump sit up here on national TV talking about my party would never win another election if we made it easy for people to vote. So you got a sitting president of the United States actually voting against the democracy of the country that he represents. You know, it's crazy. This is nuts. You got Joe Biden and the Democrats talking about expanding the Supreme Court from 9 to 13 judges because the Republicans took away several opportunities for them to add Democrats to the Supreme Court. You want to have an odd number so you can always have a majority of the vote. And I understand that. But what I don't understand is why you have a two-party system then. If you see the importance of having an odd number in the Supreme Court, why don't you have an odd number in political parties that represent the people so that you can always at least have a majority of the vote? This having just two major parties, Republican and Democrat, this is why you can't get a Republican to vote for a Democratic agenda and you can't get a Democrat to vote for a Republican agenda because there's no third party, there's no pressure on them to vote for each other's ideas. So they keep to themselves. If you had a valid third party, and this is where black people can step in at, you could force these Republicans and Democrats to work together. The black third party can be a wedge in between, and we can pick whatever we want off the Republican or Democratic tree. But the black leaders of today ain't even thinking along these lines. You can actually have a whole political party that puts you in the position to actually make laws and enforce laws to govern and maintain your way of life. But instead, you rather sit back and let the Democrats and Republicans decide. I'm gonna get on them. I'm gonna get on the black leaders in 1 second. You know, you have white businessmen, business owners. You got the My Pillow guy, other people storming the Capitol because the COVID-19 has shut down businesses and people aren't allowed to go to work. They're so upset they overthrew their own government or attempted to. You got Bitcoin skyrocketing through the roof. The money is just going up. Where is the economic momentum coming from? If people are so frustrated that you got millionaires storming the Capitol, people storming the Capitol trying to overthrow their own government because they can't work, where is the economic momentum coming from that's making Bitcoin grow so fast? I would love to know that. And especially when you have a national debt that's 3 times what the gross national product is. How do you even create a Bitcoin when you can't even control your old currency? While your national debt is growing faster than your GNP, instead of fixing that, you want to turn around and create a new currency. You ain't got the old one in check. You should be embarrassed globally. I wish there was more planets around that could see what kind of foolery is going on, because everyone needs to be laughing at this country. But let me get on these so-called civil rights leaders, you know, who should be embarrassed as well. Here you have the United Negro College Fund, established in I think it was 1944, just now getting its first black president. How the heck do white people form a United Negro College Fund? Well, I can see how they formed it. What I can't understand is how Negroes joined it. You can't even join an organization that's headed by your own people. The same people who took your education from you are going to open up a United Negro College Fund, and you Negroes still join and support this thing. After all, you should be embarrassed. Blacks spend $1.3 trillion in this economy just to get crumbs of the American pie. But you don't have not one mainstream black leader that have a recipe or a plan for blacks to make their own pie. You have failed black leaders who struggle to get a seat at the table to negotiate or even talk to whites. But blacks have right now enough economic, political, intellect, experience, and natural desire to build and support their own table. And when we do this, we don't have to butt it up against the white table. We can keep a whole independent table all to ourselves. We don't have to add to theirs. Now, and I wish I hear people say this all the time. No, let's make our own table and slide it right up to the white. No, we don't have to do that. We can build our own table and support it without them. Trust me, we can do this. But before I end this video, let me conclude by saying this. National leaders, they just look at us as service industry or labor force. These mainstream leaders, they don't want to see us or they don't envision us as leaders in industries of our own industries. They don't see us as owners and business owners and rule makers and lawmakers. They just see us as followers, people that's sitting back waiting for allowance, permission to do whatever we think of, or we think of an idea, we want to give it straight to whites, let them industrialize it, then turn around and sell us the product. We need new leadership. When you look at our economics, our numbers, our experience, these are legs that we could use to support a table. And our natural reoccurring desire, what we could rest all our fortunes on. We don't need to put our table against theirs. We can build our own. And every time a black person get hungry, we should have a business and industries established to feed them and to hire them. Every time we need clothes, we should have an industry for that. Every time we want a communication, whatever, we should have a business and industry of our own to do. No more of this first black to do this, first black to do that. We build our own, and there'll be all black people to do it. mainstream leadership, their narrow vision is killing the black movement. But fortunately, I'm not a mainstream leader. I'm going to lead you to where the others ones couldn't. And I have no, what can I say? I'm not embarrassed to say that. If this was the NBA and I was drafted to be on the team, I wouldn't care who played before me. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. Well, you know, Magic Johnson got us this many rings. Jordan got us this many rings. Bird got us this many rings. How many can you get? I'm gonna get you more than them. You gonna get us more than Michael Jordan? Yeah. You got a problem with that? I wouldn't. If somebody told you today, as I'm telling you, if I had the support that these so-called relics of the past had, Farrakhan, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, we would not be in this vulnerable position today. So wherever Jordan took the Bulls, if I was ever drafted in the NBA, I would promise you I would do better. I would Lakers, I could do better than Magic Johnson. Bird, I could do better than Bird. There's no shame in that, and that is what our people should expect. That is what our people should demand. I just heard a phrase on the guy brother Ben X. He was saying how Minister Farrakhan was saying that the role of the father is to teach the children to go farther than he did. I agree and support that 100%. I'm going to end this video here. And if you like this message, please share it. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel. And with this video, as with all my videos, it is for the complete liberation of my people. And I'll see you in my next message. Ashe.